Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Yo, y'all like the content that I've been dropping, the direction that my channel was going in, man. I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with anybody else you think may benefit from them, alright? Now, it's been a hot minute since I actually made a video. I apologize for that pause. Anytime I take a break, y'all gotta understand, a dude like me is steadily trying to grind for some shit. So, just know that I recently succeeded in getting myself a new job, and the break in my video production has been due to the fact that I'm trying to prepare to the best of my ability to take on that new profession. So it's been a lot of pieces moving around on my end of things, but I had a little bit of time and I wanted to go ahead and drop a nice video for y'all. By the way, I see that I've been getting a few more subscribers. I want to go ahead and welcome y'all to my channel and say thanks for all the people who've been supporting me up to this point. Right now, like I said, it's free game. I'm not getting any type of real compensation for making these videos, but it does make me feel good knowing that there are some people who benefit from some of the things that I cover. And eventually I just see that I will have a big community established, and I'll be able to actually pull from the people who are watching me, getting maybe new topic ideas, even donations and things like that, because then I'll be able to improve the quality of the videos. I'll add in music, I'll add in more images, and I'll even start bringing other people onto the channel when I get to that point. But for now, let's go ahead and just get back into the flow of things. So today's topic is going to be about escaping mundane life. All right, escaping mundane life. So the first thing I want to talk about is how becoming an adult is honestly like the biggest mistake most of us make. And I know that sounds funny because society is pretty much expecting you to grow up and mature and do all these things at some point in your life. But I feel that once you become an adult, there is like an overcast of clouds filled with social expectations and pressures. And you also have responsibilities, and there's a death of creativity that you have as an adult. Whereas when you were a kid, you had so much abundance of energy, and you were very curious, and you were totally immersed in the right brain thinking. You had no problem coming up with a solution for a short-term problem with your friends, or discovering a different way that you guys can all have fun. I remember my wife even told me back when she was a kid, her and her friends created their own language. I remember when I was a kid, we used to talk in Pig Latin, or I used to have like a little recorder, and I would sit down with my cousins and we made like a quick comedy show, and it was all improv, all off the top of the head. We used to get outside and we made up our own games. Ran around, played, jumped. Had no qualms about even associating with different kids that we never met before. It was an adventure every single day that we were alive. And even when you converse with adults, you pepper them with so many questions because you had a vibrance about life. There was a sparkle in your eye, and you couldn't wait to just wake up and be able to partake in whatever festivities came to your mind in that moment. So somewhere along the line, you lost that, and we all go through it. But I'm gonna try to talk about 10 ways later on in this video on how we can kind of get back to that way of thinking to escape mundane life. All right. Another thing that happened as you became an adult is you got tripped up by the roles that boxed you in. So think about it. You go to school for 12 whole years. Then once you get done with that, what's the next thing society expects of you? To go to college and learn some type of skill or trade, or basically get proficient in some type of role that you'll be able to work as later on. But when you become a student, you get then trapped by debt. And I know people who went to school, graduated, did their thing, and now they have that fancy little plaque on the wall, but they're not even really working as what they envisioned when they started their studies. And most of them are still paying off a fucking debt from, let's say, 15 years back. That's crazy, right? You become an employee and then you get trapped in by a schedule. Hence that term, if you guys ever heard of it, it's called rat race. You know, you're giving up your time just to get money. You know, so now you have all these entrepreneurs that are creating channels and stuff and kind of capitalizing off of that fear that all of us have, that we're just giving our whole life away to some job. So now they got all these gurus coming out talking about you need to be an entrepreneur and this or that. And I'm not saying that everybody's supposed to be an entrepreneur. That's why I think it's one of their unique selling points. They're kind of giving you that fantasy that everybody can be their own business owner, or everybody can own their own business. But fact of the matter is, we need people who work. But what I'm saying is, you get trapped into a schedule. You know, the average person will work, let's say, at 9 to 5, then come home and they got responsibilities, grocery shopping, taking care of the kids, doing this, that, and the third. And next thing you know, by the time it's, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, all they want to do is honestly sit down, maybe eat some food, have a couple drinks, and watch their favorite Netflix series. Then go to sleep, wake up, and then do the whole shit again. So you get trapped into that schedule. Another thing is, like, if you become a spouse, especially if you have the wrong partner, now you're trapped by one person. And the worst part is, you have to pass up all the other people you might fit with way better just to keep this relationship intact. So those are some of the things that will happen to the average adult that'll really, like quicksand, pull them into that mundane life, right? So my question is there any way to counter this mundane life? To break the chains of adult confinement and unleash all these repressed emotions, right? So I have basically 10 ways of escaping mundane life, and they are as follows. So the first thing I do is yoga, weightlifting, and running. All right. These three, what they do for me is they help me to relieve stress, first off. Second, I reduce the aches and pains of being an adult. Third, they basically raise energy and confidence, and all of that together improves my outlook on life. So you guys have seen my videos. It's pretty much imperative for me to be all about fitness. And I talk about that as one of the key pillars of any adult, especially men. But it improves your outlook on life, those three things that I'm talking about, So that already helps me to break down this mundane life, because I can see things from a different perspective, and I feel motivated to go forward in life versus just being stuck and years passing and me looking back and thinking, what the fuck was I doing when I was whatever age, right? Number 2 on how to escape mundane life: reading, writing, drawing, and rapping. Now, those are 4 things that I've always liked doing. Rapping being like the latest addition to that list, because when I hit about 15, 16, I had always been listening to like Nas, AZ, Big L, Jadakiss, all these other rappers, right? So that was like the latest hobby that I developed. But the other 3, what I realized by doing that as a kid, it like did a lot of things for me. But doing it as an adult, I'm seeing a huge change. And one of them is that I reduce screen time. I look around left and right, everybody's on their phone all the time. I don't know what the fuck they doing, but I doubt it's anything that's intellectually charged, right? So by me reducing my screen time and focusing on those things, I noticed that it synchronizes and calms my mind. And on top of that, it helps me to sharpen the skills that I've always had. Third way that I escape mundane life is I sign up for online courses and I engage in independent study. And this is about any topic, whether it be history, politics, science, whatever my mind is curious about, I start to study it. And what I notice is this raises my productivity, right? Not only that, but I become more marketable in this digital age. So I'm noticing that like job opportunities are coming to me, and it's all because I'm not just wasting my time. I'm using it wisely by learning new things, and this helps me to understand, I'm actually eligible for way more positions than, let's say, my current spot. And the last thing, it sharpens, well, not sharpens, but like I learn new things. So this just makes me more knowledgeable, right? Fourth, this YouTube channel. Because this is a way that I can actually like give back in a way. I'm helping others and I'm creating a community of like-minded people, which allows me to implement one of the best policies for knowledge, which I think is called each one, teach one, right? That's an old mantra from back in the 70s with the 5%ers. And I just love that idea of whatever I learn in my journey, as my generation kind of gets older and becomes the elders, we become above the the younger generation, and we can teach back what we have learned on our journey, and that will help them on their path. And then eventually it's like a cycle of life. They'll have to do the same thing for the younger generation, right? So that's the fourth way I escape mundane life, is by just pouring all of my thoughts that would normally go in sidebar conversations with people who maybe aren't even intellectually charged, or maybe they don't give a fuck about what I'm talking about. Well, I can at least make this video or videos, and other people who are thinking like me can tune in and listen from time to time. So that's another way that I escape mundane life. Fifth is MUSE employment. I employ a muse, right? So a muse is basically a person or a personified force who is the source of inspiration for a creative artist. So think about like Leonardo and all these other people, even great scientists and creators. They usually had some type of muse that motivated them to create or do what they did. So I have two different muses. One is I imagine like my wife, but I imagine her as a siren. You see what I mean? Like a real sexy, intimate, seductive version of her that is like wanting me really, really bad. Like it's real intense how much she's into me, right? And I use her, the vision of her like that, as if she's watching my every move, like as if she's turned on by whatever creative endeavor I'm in. So like, let's say I'm doing homework, right? I imagine that muse of my wife, and it helps me to stay focused on the homework, because I think like, oh, after I'm done with this homework, I get to engage with this muse. Now it's all in my mind, but it helps to kind of like break the mundane life where I would maybe just come and watch TV and just chill. I'm imagining that. So it keeps me focused on getting a lot of things done. Another muse that I use is actually of myself, my higher self. And what this does is this gives me positive pressure and a goal to work for. It increases my willpower because I envision the Mike that I want to be. And it's kind of like holding a carrot in front of the donkey's nose. Like it gives me something to run for, right? Another thing I do to break mundane life: travel and vacationing. Now, given this whole corona bullshit is kind of making all of us, I think, antsy in this moment. A lot of us who are working and able to capitalize during this time, I salute to you. And I also want to tell you to be thankful, because there are a lot of people who actually had their whole livelihood destroyed with this whole corona shit. But when things return to normal, if they ever do, I definitely want to travel more and take more vacations. The reason why is because when you see new things, people, you try new foods, you create like interesting talking points for your own life. You create memories, you break away from the average, and the biggest thing is you broaden your horizons. And all of these things are outside of the scope of a mundane life. You see what I mean? You know, it's cool to be able to, let's say, shoot somewhere like Syria or Lebanon and Beirut and all these cool historical places, you know, to go to Egypt and see the pyramids, to shoot down to, I don't know, South Africa, to go to Russia or wherever in your mind you have like a vision. I think you should go there and check it out, because now for the rest of your life you'll always be able to reflect back on that experience, and it can never be taken away from you, you know? The seventh thing I like to do, honestly, to break up a mundane life is straight up risk-taking activities. Skydiving, bungee jumping, riding a motorcycle, getting on fast roller coasters. Basically doing anything that gets my adrenaline pumping. What I realize is that gives me a different outlook on life as well. You know, to get on a motorcycle, for example, and zip as fast as it can go, when you get off of that motorcycle, like, you have such a cool feeling that honestly sticks with you for hours after. It's like a high that can't really be explained. Or bungee jumping, for example, that was another experience that me and my wife did together, where it's like for the rest of our life we get to say that we did something like that. And now, shit, I'm thinking about skydiving. We got to do that. We just got to do it. So 8, get out into nature. I don't even need to say anything else. I feel like you get in tune with the Most High by being out in nature, right? 8 is to be more passionate and romantic. And this is not only if you're in a relationship, also just for yourself. Treat yourself good. Take yourself on a date. You know, do what you like to do. Make yourself feel good. Pleasure yourself. Like, indulge. You know? This shakes things up also in your actual relationships. And 10 is to be fully present in the moment. Because I feel like a lot of us are mentally somewhere else. We're in the past. We're in the future. Be right here, right now. And catch all these subtle gems that life is constantly throwing your way. All right? So those are my 10 ways that I break up mundane life. If you have some ideas, let me know in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, and holla back.